Welcome to Worthy Ones, the video series where each and every week I take the newest #1 issues that I read for the current comic book week and deem them worthy or not worthy. Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content, you love me helping you make decisions of what comic books to buy, you definitely came to the right place. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated. Before we get into it, guys, I just want to give a shout out to Sidekick. This is something that might change your comic book collection. What happens when you start a new box with too much empty space? Your books slide, they slouch, they flop, they bend, they crease, and now your books are ruined. But what's the solution? Well, pick up a Sidekick today. Be the hero of your comic collection. The Sidekick fits firmly in your short box to keep those comics upright and prevent them from falling. So guys, check out Sidekick today. There is a link in my description box below. This product is made in the USA. It offers free shipping, and if you use my promo code Slayer15, you'll also get 15% off. And also, if that is not good enough, guys, when you make a purchase for Sidekick, there is a portion of the proceeds go to Comic Book for Kids. So they are a proud partner of that charity. So guys, what are you waiting for? Check out Sidekick to protect your comic book collection. Kneel before Zod. This is issue 1. This is a 32-page comic for $5. It's written by Joe Casey and the artwork is done by Dan McDade. The artwork was okay in this book. I wouldn't say it was perfect. There was other times where it was like pretty cool, and then there was other times where I was like, it's not so great. You know, there was times where it's like, oh, when they're using their powers, I just felt like that was the, you know, the fun part of the actual comic book, like here and here, right? But then there was other times where I just felt like it lacked. It was like no detail in the back. It's just colors. What makes it bright and vibrant, and maybe it makes you focus on the character, but you might want to see a little bit more of the world, right? So I don't know. I was hot and cold when it came to the artwork in this comic book. And what this comic is really about is just, I guess, Zod, you know, having his own world, and he's dealing with his son, and his son is coming of age. And if he feels that he's not the right heir, that he's going to cast him out into the world and be on his way. And at times you felt like it was kind of emotional, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be all by myself. And he challenged his dad, and his dad's like, you're a freaking loser, so get out of here, you know? And then all of a sudden, a month later, you wind up seeing these aliens. They wind up attacking Zod's like planet or whatnot. Can you see the twist here? I mean, I feel like it's very predictable because he casts his son out. He feels like, you know, you have to live your own life and prove you're worthy. And it just seems like his son is the one pulling the strings to take on his dad. I'm going to find this book not worthy. You guys may like this book. I just felt like it was a very, very predictable plot, if I'm guessing correctly here. But I wasn't like really blown away by this comic book. I don't know what I was expecting here, to tell you the truth, but I think I was expecting a little bit more. It just seemed like the villains here were very generic. I just felt like the overall story was kind of boring, a lot of talking heads. I did like some of the dialogue stuff, but overall it was okay for me. So at the end of the day, if I'm going to grade this book, I'm going to grade this one a C-. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best at all. And being that, you know, again, comic books are more expensive these days, you want that issue 1 to really shoot out a good impact, right? And it makes you want to continue the series. But I'm really curious to hear in the comments below, what did you think of this first issue? Follow the House of X. This is issue 1. This is a 40-page comic for $6. The writer here is Jerry Duggan, and the artwork is done by Lucas Wernick. The artwork is good in this book. I actually like the way the characters look. Here's a fastball special with Wolverine and Colossus. I thought that was really cool. Just there's really cool, exciting scenes here. More Wolverine stuff using his claws. There's other characters in here that have good action scenes. Here's Rasputin 4. She looks great. So overall, I thought the artwork looked good, and the action that was in this comic was pretty solid as well. There's a couple characters that do make their appearance at the end of this comic. I don't want to spoil that for you because I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. And the second issue really, I think, ramps things up. What this issue has to offer is a lot of things that's going on with Cyclops. He winds up going on trial here, and we're deciding if Cyclops is going to be guilty or not guilty, right? And then based off of his guilt means that, of course, all the mutants are going to be guilty, and Orchis has won, and they're basically going to take over the world and protect everybody from everything. So it's a pretty big deal, right? Rasputin 4 has something going on with Xavier. You don't quite know what it is, but there's a plan in motion here. So I thought that was a really interesting take that I didn't see coming as well. Overall, this book was worthy. I think if you've been following X-Men, the main title, I think you're going to understand what's going on here. They did a pretty good job at trying to get you to understand everything, but it is a lot. You see some kind of weird battle here with Nimrod and actual Krakoa itself, which maybe wasn't the best part of the comic book for me. It was kind of weird, but definitely the end redeemed itself for me to continue to read this and to see where this story is going to go. So if I'm going to grade this book, I'm going to grade this one a B-. It was solid. It wasn't perfect. A little, it's X-Men, right? It's not the X-Men of old, not even close, but I think we're setting things up to get to a place where maybe we want the X-Men to be once again. Miguel O'Hara, Spiderman 2099, issue 1. So the last few Spider-Man 2099 series have really not been that great. Actually, a bit disappointing in my opinion. So again, though, since it's 2099, I'm definitely going to, check it out and see if this one is any better. This one was 28 pages, and it was a $5 comic book. We got Steve Orlando, who writes this comic, and then we got Dave Pramanek, who does the artwork in this comic. The artwork, though, in this particular book itself, and I don't know going forward if it's going to be the same artist, was actually really good. It was dark. It was gritty. It's something that you would expect in this tone of book because it's a horror book. Now, what this series has to offer is a bunch of horror-like one-shots, okay? And this one features a zombie. Okay, and in this comic, you wind up getting the first appearance of a few characters in here. You got Conchetta O'Hara, which is Miguel's mom. So I thought that was kind of cool. You get Barbara Southey, Barrow Man, and Bernard Jameson. So you have a Jameson in this book as well. And that's what seems like 2099 Universe is doing. It's introducing all these different types of new characters, right? So what this story was about was a guy who basically lost his wife to zombies that I guess rose from the graveyard, and he decided that he wants to create the perfect human species where there is no like death, right, and things like that, and he wants to turn everybody into these zombie-like creatures. Well, Miguel winds up coming across this patient zero virus because his mom winds up getting infected by the whole thing, and now he's trying to find a cure, and he winds up going to the new character Blade 2099, right? So we wind up seeing him deal with that, and they deal with the Patient Zero and stuff like that. So, I mean, it wasn't an overly complex plot. I thought it was a little bit emotional seeing Miguel go through, the situation with his mom. So this is much improved, and I'm going to deem this book worthy. However, maybe not jumping necessarily on board with the whole thing because, like I said, this book is a bunch of one-shots. It's like I think it's new number ones, right? Yeah. Oh, no, it goes through 1 through 4. So I stand corrected here. But number 1 has to deal with the zombie. Number 2 has to deal with a Moon Knight. Number 3 has to deal with a werewolf. Number 4 has to deal with, I can't make out that cover there. And number 5 has to do with like Man-Thing. So, yeah, if you like horror, right, I think this is going to be up your alley, and you want to see how Miguel deals with all these different situations. So if I grade this book, I don't think it knocked my socks off, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it a solid B. Pine and Merrimack, this is issue 1. The book is written by Kyle Stark, and the art is done by Fran Galan. This is a 28-page comic for $5. The artwork is great in this comic. It really helps bring the characters to life. Their facial expressions are really amazing. And right from the start, when you read this comic book, you fall in love with these characters because the writer wants to establish the characters. When there is a detective-like comic, which this book is, there's a lot of times where they focus so much on the mystery at hand, they forget to develop the characters, and you have no care for the characters whatsoever. So here we focused on the couple themselves, how they became, how they got married, how one became a detective, how one was an MMA fighter, one's the smarts, one's the brawn, and we get to see how they actually opened up their business here, and it's on the corner of Pine and Merrimack. It's not their actual names. The female's name is Lena, the male is Parker, right? And their story is great, and you get to see a little bit of their PI work right in the very beginning, and it was very comical to lighten up the tone of this comic book. And then all of a sudden what happens is you wind up seeing them take a case of a missing daughter, okay? And what this did was it brought back memories for Lena, how her sister went missing when she was younger. They don't normally do cases like this, but they decided to make an exception just because this one kind of was close to the heart, right? And you get to see them kind of go deeper into this case, and it's leading into a more and more evolved case. And this book was definitely worthy. I say pick this one up. I feel that this one could have been under a lot of people's radar, including myself. I was really hesitant about this book because I'm kind of finicky when it comes to detective comics. Because like I said, they can be bland, they can be boring, it could just be drawn out. And right away with these great characters, it makes you want to solve this case with them. So at the end of the day, I'm giving this book an A. Vengeance of Moon Knight issue 1, written by Jed McKay. Artwork is done by Alessandro Capaccio, and this is a 40-page comic for $6. The thing that this comic has got going for it, man, it's superb artwork. The characters look so entertaining. I love their facial expressions in here. I think this is the same artist that did the last volume. If I stand corrected, just let me know in the comments section below. But this is a really, really great artwork. There's one scene in here where Tigra is in, and I was like blown away by it. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you. Where she goes like a toe-to-toe here with Reese. I thought that was so cool because you get to see her really mourning Mark's loss and her trying to deal with things in her own hands. Like, this is phenomenal, dude. This is what you want in your comic books when it comes to artwork. So well done. Now, when it comes to the last volume of Moon Knight, I pretty much fell off of it, not because I disliked it. I love Jed McKay. I just fell so far behind that I couldn't catch up. So I felt that this was a perfect opportunity to jump on board. Now, since I did read this comic, I don't know if this is a new reader-friendly comic per se. I think it does a pretty good job at giving you an idea of where these characters are at this point in time with the loss of Mark Spector. But to understand everything that was going on, I don't know if it's perfect in that aspect. But in this comic, we wind up seeing Reese, who is now the leader of the Midnight Mission. She's not Moon Knight. It's hinted at here as, oh, are you going to take over things? And she's like, hell no, I'm just going to be in charge of the Midnight Mission. So any of you guys that were losing their shit thinking that she's going to be the next Moon Knight, no, that's not actually happening, okay? She's just in charge of the group right now. And basically what this comic tries to tell you is what everyone is dealing with since Moon Knight has died and passed away, how all the heroes are dealing with it. And Reese is in this therapy session to discuss, the situation at hand and how she might think that Moon Knight might still be alive, but in a different way. Hints at the title of this comic, Vengeance of Moon Knight, okay? So this book is worthy. In every way, stretch of the mean, this was a phenomenal book. Even though I haven't read an issue of the Voss volume in months, I really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. In my eyes, this is not an A+ book because I feel like you need it to be new reader friendly to understand everything that's going on, but it's enough there to get you interested and to maybe continue. So this one is an A in my opinion. I can't wait to see where the next issue goes. So there you have it, webheads. There are the books I deemed worthy or not worthy. I want to know in the comments below, what were your favorite issue ones of the week? What do you deem worthy and not worthy? And of course, guys, if you love my content, more content's always right here for you to click on. In fact, this is my latest haul video. This is everything that I picked up for the current comic book week. And as always, guys, support those local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, and always remember, read your comics. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.